Hi, I'm Anne Braden, and welcome back to the Opinion and Opossum Read Aloud. This is the third installment of me reading aloud from my new book, Opinions and Opossums, and this will end about at around page 50. So if you want to listen more after that, convince someone else to read this book aloud to you, or you can just read it yourself. All right, chapter 8. I have a question, I say. Mo and I are at his house because better snacks. We have the house to ourselves since Mo's mom has taken his sister Sadie to her new dance class. So we've taken the liberty of opening a new box of all butter coffee cake, cutting it down the middle, and loading 2 plates with our enormous portions. Mo takes his first bite. He pauses, eyes closed, to savor all that butter. Okay, shoot. Do you believe in God? I ask. His eyes fly open. Way to beat around the bush, he laughs. Do you? He takes another bite. You know, 0, -0 faith. So, you don't believe in anything? I don't think so, he says. But I don't really like thinking there's nothing out there either. Maybe we're all swimming in primordial chocolate soup, and the meaning of life is to stop and lick the flowers more. I'm serious, Mo. Well, I am too. I have no idea. Who really does? Who can say with certainty they know what's going on with all that stuff? Lots of people. Well, good for them. I take a bite of coffee cake. It is a pretty great feeling when a mouthful can taste this good and you still have most of a slice so big it barely fits on your plate. And I'm supposed to. Supposed to what? He says. Supposed to sign a paper at confirmation in class that says I believe in God. Mo nearly chokes on his cake. What? Are you supposed to sign a paper that says you figured out what's inside a black hole while you're at it? I shake my head. I think that'd be easier. Mo smiles and looks out the window. I bet anything Mo's remembering the story about the shopping cart who had dreams of being an astrophysicist and loved to stare up at the stars from the middle of the parking lot every night. But a shopping cart is just one point in an enormous universe, I recite. One point that can see all the other points and can finally feel at peace, he finishes. That was a good one, I say. I miss writing them with you, Mo says. You're the one who's always good with the metaphors. It's not the same on my own. It's not forever, I tell him. I just need to work on my possum stuff first. It's what's speaking to me now. Which you're not letting me read, by the way. It's too soon. But I told you it's about opossums. Isn't that enough? Well, is it about more than just opossums? Is it? I stare at my plate. Kind of. Mo sighs. Fine. He pokes me with his fork. So, are you going to sign that paper at church? I don't know. I want to believe in God, but I just can't get there. At least, I'm not there yet. Well, then that's easy. Then just don't sign the paper. But I can't not sign the paper. Miranda will flip out. Pastor Paul will flip out. Then I'll probably get kicked out of confirmation class, and Miranda's dad will find out. He'll be disappointed, which means that my mom won't get that promotion, and we won't be able to pay off our credit card debt, and then, okay, I get it. So just sign the paper, Agnes. I wave my fork at him. But it's church! I'd be officially lying in church. But you don't believe in God. I shake my head, pull the empty coffee cake box toward me, and start stabbing the top of it. You make it sound so easy. You asked for help, Mo is saying, and I'm helping. Logic is your friend, even if you're not a friend to logic. I keep stabbing the plastic. Some things are not always logical. Chapter 9. By the time Mo's mom and his sister Sadie pull into the driveway, Mo has finished his half of the coffee cake and the rest of my half too. I, on the other hand, have managed to completely destroy the lid of the box. Good job taking care of the evidence, Mo whispers as he wipes up all the remnants and puts them in the trash. Even if she goes through the garbage, she'll never recognize it. There's the jangle of the key in the lock, and then Mo's mom sweeps into the house like she always does, talking a mile a minute with her arms full of groceries and Sadie's school stuff. Sadie trails behind her, doing twirls and then bunny hops into the living room. Agnes, how are you? How was your day? Mo's mom asks. Are you hungry? I just got new snacks at the grocery store. It was good, and I'm full, thanks, I say. Mo clears his throat. Don't forget about your only son. My day was fine, and actually, yes, I could use a snack. Honestly, Mo could win awards with his metabolism. He must get it from his dad, who takes about 8 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with him to work every day. Mo's mom squeezes him into a hug from behind. No snacks right before dinner, but I'm glad your day was good. Mo starts looking through the grocery bags. What's for dinner? Just pasta and sauce tonight, and you're going to be watching Sadie, she says. Your dad and I have trivia night, and I need to leave by 6 p.m. She smiles. Our team is doing great. I try to remember the last time my mom went out with friends or even talked to someone on the phone. Between work and her night classes, I think it's been years. Mo starts to say something, but then Sadie flies into the room. I am a dinosaur fairy, she screams. She leaps into the air and comes down hard. She leaps again and lands with another big thump. I am terrifying. I will eat you all. She spins until she falls over. Dinosaur fairy, can you get your lunch stuff from your backpack and put it in the sink? Mo's mom asks. She's already gotten 2 bags of groceries put away. Dinosaur fairies are very busy, Sadie yells. Your lunch stuff, please, Mo's mom says. Sadie leaps again, but instead of getting her lunch stuff, she hops right over her backpack. Mo's mom shakes her head and giggles under her breath. She did this for the entire dance class. Everyone else was practicing first and second position, and she was leaping around and thumping. Are you going to stop bringing her to class? Mo asks. She shakes her head. She's 6. She's allowed to be silly. Will you unpack the rest of these groceries? I can help too, I say, and start to unload a bag. Thank you, Agnes, she says. You know, Mo was telling me you started confirmation classes. It's wonderful you're doing that. Yeah, it's real wonderful. It's real wonderful, right, Agnes? Mo jokes. I'm serious, Mo, his mom says. Sometimes I regret not raising you as Jewish. If we had, you'd be learning Hebrew and getting ready for your bar mitzvah right now. You'd be preparing to be an adult. I've got 6 years until I'm an adult, Mom, Mo says. She nods, and if you wait to start thinking about your future until then, it'll be too late. Mo glances at her. That's a little harsh, don't you think? His mom shakes her head. I know you want to resist this, but your dad is right. A good college is how you get a good job, and a good resume is how you get into a good college. And colleges will be looking for serious students who are dedicated and members of teams, and high school is too late to start a new sport, Mo finishes for her. I know. When she goes back out to the car for more grocery bags, Mo sighs. She's fixated on the path to college stuff. I pull out a box of pasta out of the bag. It's all right. You don't really care about opinions, right? Mo smirks. Too bad parents always want us to care about theirs. I let out a deep breath. Yeah, and what are we supposed to do then? Just then, Mo's mom reappears with more grocery bags and a flyer. Mo, I almost forgot. I got more information about that basketball camp. It sounds perfect. Mo drops the empty grocery bag over his head. Then how about you go to it? Mo and I crack up when his mom gets that deer in the headlights look. Chapter 10. At home, I flop down onto my bed. Things would be so much easier if I could convince myself to believe in God. But every time I think about how angry he was in those early Bible stories, I feel bad. Because why would that kind of God love me? And where are the girls in the Bible stories who get to feel God's love without having to die? Or without biting apples that condemn the whole human race for eternity? I thought believing in God was supposed to feel good, not like you're digging yourself even deeper into a hole. Just then, my phone buzzes in my hand. It's a video of Sadie from Mo. She now plans to try out for a school's annual spring talent show with her own dance routine, and there she is in their kitchen, swinging her arms like she's a robotic windmill in a tornado. I laugh in spite of myself. That girl! I just love her confidence. So many kids seem so sure of themselves, so much more sure of themselves than I'll ever be. Last year at the talent show, Miranda played the piano and a bunch of her friends did a full dance routine to a Beyonce song. The whole auditorium exploded when they finished. What would it feel like to be up there on that stage? I start scrolling through my phone, watching different music videos, imagining what it'd be like to pull off those dance routines. I end up clicking on the trailer for a Beyonce documentary. There isn't any music in the trailer, though, just a voice that sounds old and wise and kind. An interviewer asks the question, "And what advice would you have to give this generation?" And the old, wise, kind voice says, "Tell the truth to yourself first." I click stop on the video. I feel like time has stopped, like the voice is speaking right to me, because I've never considered that someone could be lying to themselves. And I've never felt so swept away by a voice before. I do a Google search to find out that the voice on the Beyonce trailer is Maya Angelou. It says that the quote is from one of her last interviews before she died in 2014. Maya Angelou. I swear I've seen her name before, and suddenly I realize where. I burst out of my room and into my mom's room and pull open her closet door. And there she is on a poster pinned to the inside of my mom's closet door. At the bottom of the poster are the words, "Still like dust I'll rise." I feel like I can hear Maya Angelou saying those words in her beautiful voice. Chapter 11. Mom, I say, as soon as I've gotten to the kitchen, you have a poster of Maya Angelou. She looks up from the bills she's been paying at the kitchen table. Why do you look so shocked? I guess because I didn't really know who she was before. She's... How do I describe it? And why do I feel like my heart wants to leap out of my chest? Was it her voice? No, not just her voice. It was her voice saying what she said. She's an amazing writer, my mom completes the sentence for me. I must have gotten that poster in college. I was an English major, and I remember reading her autobiography for one of my classes, and it was wonderful, really inspiring. What'd you talk about in her autobiography? I ask. I know one of the things she said was that the most important thing was to tell the truth, to yourself first. Did she? My mom says, looking up at the clock. We should start getting dinner ready. We're having stir-fry tonight. She heads to the fridge. Snap peas were too expensive, but I got green peppers and onions and carrots. She emerges with them all in hand. Oh, and a can of pineapple. I was thinking we could try that sweet and sour sauce again. Can you be in charge of the pineapples and the carrots? I'll do the onions and the peppers. Sure, I say, retrieving the can of pineapple from the cupboard. I try again. What do you remember from her autobiography? But my mom's looking at her phone and doesn't seem interested in this conversation. I guess just because she used to be excited about Maya Angelou doesn't mean she is anymore. Oh dear, she says. I missed a call from Gracie. I hope everything's okay. She starts to listen to the voice message and glances at me, confused. I think she's inviting you over to show you something? Something about an opossum? No idea what that could be. Yes! Can I go? I'm up and almost out the door before I remember our stir-fry plans. I glance at the can of pineapple on the counter. I mean, go ahead, my mom smiles. Grandma Agnes isn't close by, and those relationships are important. I'll make the stir-fry on my own. Are you sure? My mom turns on the radio to the news and nods. I'm sure. She seems like such a sweet old lady. Chapter 12. When I get to Gracie's door, there's an official-looking note stuck to it with a message about the trees in her front yard. What's that? I ask, pointing to it when she comes to the door. Oh, nothing to worry about, she says, glancing at it. Some of our neighbors are concerned about whether my new birch trees are allowed by the new neighborhood association rules. I don't know what they have against beautiful trees. Anyway, come in. I have something to show you. She leads me inside to the dining room. The table is piled with old magazines, books, and travel guides. The other end of the table is cleared except for... Is that a skull? Gracie grins. It sure is, and not just any skull. That, my friend, is an opossum skull. But where did you... I have a few different skulls stored in the basement that I've collected over the years, and I just remembered one was an opossum. I found it way back when I was getting my anthropology PhD. She motions me over. Come on, it's not going to bite. Take a closer look. I step forward. It's so long and pointy. Isn't it, though? It looks like the ancient animal it is. 60 million years old, right? I say. Good memory. Gracie's eyes twinkle. Contemporaries with the saber-toothed cat. The line between the opossum's forehead and its nose is such a smooth curve, like the kind of long, gentle sledding hill that Mo is always searching for. Can I touch it? Sure can. All the germs were boiled away years ago. I run my finger along that slope to its mouth. Those sharp teeth must have helped it last so long, too. Well, the teeth can help them eat anything, but the most important thing is their ability to take care of their babies. I look up at her. Isn't survival more about your ability to defend yourself against enemies? Gracie snorts. A world history textbook might make you think that, but no species survives if it can't raise healthy babies. And opossum mothers can raise nearly 40 babies a year. 40? How's that even possible? But I guess there were a lot in that pouch. Gracie walks over to a bookshelf that's threatening to collapse under the weight of all its books. She pulls one out and starts reading aloud. 13 spots in the pouch for nursing and up to 3 litters of babies a year. She hands me the book. That's a lot of babies. I peer at the picture of the opossum and the close-up of one of its hands. It looks just like a human hand. Yes, they have opposable thumbs, too, which come in handy. Gracie smiles. Agnes, what do you think was the biggest reason humans developed into a dominant species? I think of Mo sideways leaping down the sidewalk like his version of a caveman. Using tools to hunt? The human version of sharp teeth, eh? Gracie clears the books off 2 chairs and we sit down. Tools and weapons helped, but the real game changer was our big brains. Our ability to work together, make plans, debate options, and divide up tasks made us an unstoppable force. Like how cavemen hunted in groups? She pauses. That's what comes to your mind first, isn't it? How about the women? What do you think they were doing? I don't want to admit that I kind of assumed they were waiting back at the cave. Gracie shakes her head. It's not your fault you only picture the men. That's the story you've been told because for a long time the only anthropologists were men, and they weren't interested in talking about women's roles. But let's change that image in your head right now. She leans towards me. Because you know who found ways to birth those big-brained humans? Women who asked other women for help when they were in labor. You know what formed the cornerstone of human relationships and ultimately for societies? The bond between a woman and her child. Who developed language? Women reassuring their babies with their voices. Who likely invented the first calendar? Women tracking the cycles of the moon. Gracie pauses. Guess who provided most of the food? My head is swirling. That one was men, right? I venture. With their hunting? Gracie raises her eyebrows. It was the women who made baskets from grass and gathered plants and berries. It was the women who wove string nets and caught small game and fish. That was a far more reliable source than going up against a big wild animal. It's like Gracie has turned on an enormous light bulb inside my head. And the more stuff she tells me, the more my mind is blown. How do you know all this? I blurt. Why does it feel so huge? Gracie goes back over to her bookshelf and pulls another book off the shelf. Thankfully, the field of anthropology has been busy making up for lost time. She hands me a fat book published by the Smithsonian, then starts piling magazines on top. National Geographic and Scientific American and American Anthropologist. Always remember, she says, we can never understand the truth about something if we don't wonder what we're missing. Metal spears will easily turn up at an archaeological site, but intricately woven grass baskets won't necessarily survive. Never thought about that, but of course it makes sense, I say. You see, Agnes, underestimating women has been a habit for generations. Gracie shakes her head. People always say that it's hard to change someone's mind, but it's even harder to change someone's habits. She taps the opossum skull. Just ask our friend here. I touch the edge of the opossum's jawbone at the base of one of its sharpest teeth. Maybe opossums will evolve so they stop playing dead when they're in the road, I say quietly. Gracie puts a hand on mine. It just takes enough of them finding a way, she says, and then they've reshaped the future. The opinion of an opossum. Maybe sometimes we have to play dead, but you know what's kept us opossums going since the time of the dinosaurs? How us mamas can carry our babies around with us, all seasons of the year, over all sorts of obstacles. And how great are we at sniffing out food? Yep, we're unstoppable when it comes to finding what's edible, no matter what it might be. Single mothers for the win. You think opossums have some story about some female opossum screwing things up because she took a bite out of a shiny apple in the garden? Not a chance. Chapter 13. So what was it Gracie wanted to show you? My mom asks over dinner. An opossum skull. She pauses with her fork raised in the air. Well, that's sure unexpected. Was it interesting? It actually was, I tell her. Did you know opossums have played dead for millions of years just so their predators will leave them alone? Is that so? My mom murmurs between bites. But now their predators are cars, so they're just getting run over. She looks at me. That's rough. They should change, right? I say. They should stop playing dead, at least when they're in traffic. They probably should. They probably will. It's just change takes time. I don't know. My mom takes a bite. Does a possum even know it's possible to change? I stop chewing. I hope so. My mom doesn't look up from her food, but something has woken up inside me, and I press on. Gracie's really interesting. She knows a lot about ancient women and all the important things they did. They actually gathered most of the food and figured out how to use stones to grind grains and how to fish with nets and stuff. It's kind of amazing, right? Really? That's nice, my mom says with a yawn. I'm sorry, Agnes. I had to get up early to study for my accounting class. And that's the end of our conversation. My mom doesn't have enough time in a day to do all her work or get proper sleep or have friends. So it's not like she has time to think about what women were achieving thousands of years ago, or to suddenly want to question all sorts of things you've all assumed were true. But that doesn't mean I have to be the same. The opinion of an opossum. What do you do if your mama, who has carried you and fed you for your whole life, thinks you should both keep playing dead? What if she doesn't think there's another option? What if she's wrong? The mama possum walks and walks, carrying her young. But if those babies keep clinging on forever, if they stay with her every step of the way, would they ever have a chance to evolve? Instead, When they're old enough, they need to drop off, hit the ground, and start making decisions for themselves. But that moment when you let go of her fur and start falling to the ground, it's terrifying. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day.